Real quick before the start of the video, I just want to let you guys know that it'll be in segments. So if you're here wanting to know if you should get the game or not, look in the little segment bar. It's towards the end. It should be like, should you buy the game? And go there. If you want to hear more about like what's wrong with the game, what I like about the game, you can see it in the segments. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Here it goes. So it's finally here, Cyberpunk 2077. And yeah, there's been a lot of issues with it. But before I get into that, I just want to say I'm Blades. This is my YouTube channel. I do a lot of gaming stuff here. I'm starting this podcast type thing where I just talk about stuff I want to talk about. Don't know what I'm going to call it, but this is the first episode of it. There's sure to be more. Yeah. So if you like the video, make sure to subscribe and all that. And go check out actual gaming videos if you're into that. But today I wanted to talk about Cyberpunk 2077. I was saying it for weeks before the game actually came out that it was overhyped and it was going to come out either feeling overwhelming, unfinished, glitchy, any of the above, and that's exactly what happened. And I know there's no proof of me saying this, but there's a lot of people that I talked to about it where I said my expectations weren't as high as other people's, because I felt like there was a lot of pressure behind the game. And after having played it for about 10 or 15 hours, I haven't beaten it. I love this story, and I think it's got some really cool concepts. But I also think it is incredibly poorly executed, and here's why. To start off, the game puts you... I'm going to do this without any spoilers, by the way. I'm not going to talk about story. I'm just going to give you a generalization of how the game works. So Cyberpunk 2077 is placed in Night City, right? This big explorable city where there's a ton of interaction you can do, but the game doesn't really explain any of it. And you know, that's a concept with CD Projekt Red. They do that with, like, in The Witcher. It's built around figuring things out, right? But the game is so vertical, I guess. There's like so much stuff. It feels really big that it is almost like I played 20 hours and I still don't know what I'm doing. And also the plot does feel kind of lazy. Now I like the story. I'm not going to spoil it, like I said, but there's just some portions of the game where like it'll show you like a montage of what's going on, but that's it. You just see a montage of what happened with no explanation, and then the game expects you to know what's going on, and it doesn't explain it later, as far as I know. Now I could be wrong about that. I like what they did with the game as far as paths you can take to play it. When you start the game, there's 3 paths you can take. There's Street Kid, Corpo, and Nomad, I think. And they're basically different spawn areas with different life paths. And that gives the game a lot of replayability. I really like that concept. But honestly, I don't really think that the game is laid out as well as it could be. It's not like it doesn't feel playable. Like it doesn't like click with me. It doesn't make me want to play it more. And you know, that's just my personal opinion. I know some people probably love it. I think it's really cool, but it doesn't feel like it has a hook. It doesn't feel like it's pulled me in and made me want to keep putting hours into it. And I'm gonna beat it, of course. I want to know how it ends. And it's not great, but it's not terrible. And like I said, with the expectations being so high, I'm guessing that's about where most people are landing with it. I think some of the I think the way the game is made is groundbreaking. I think the map is huge, and that's super cool. But as far as actual gameplay goes, it's not exactly what I expected. Not to say that it's bad, but I want to get into a different thing, a different topic with it. It's really fucking buggy. It's just bad. It's inexcusable. CD Projekt Red is one of, I don't want to say the best game developers, but they're really well known and they make really good games. It is so buggy. There's so many issues. Luckily I have a PC that hasn't really had any troubles rendering it, but I know so many console players who the game has just crashed when they started it up. The textures don't render in, things bug out, things like crowds don't spawn in, and then they'll just all of a sudden appear. I'll try and find a clip of that and put it on screen if I can. It's crazy to me that there's just so much error in this game. And I understand that, again, the pressure behind the game is going to make any small error look bad. But this game's been in development for 8 years. 8 fucking years. And it comes out and you can't load your textures? That's basic. If you have to push it back again, push it back again. But you can't launch a game with those kinds of errors. That's ridiculous. That's a terrible idea. That nobody will ever buy your next game. That's probably not true. I mean, all the Witchers did really well. The third one especially. And Cyberpunk is like a niche game. It has a standard to live up to that I think is unrealistic. Unrealistic standards aside, the game's just kind of bad. The story's cool. The gameplay's okay, but it's buggy. Like, there'll be fights in the game where like I try and stealth kill somebody and they just lag through my body, like they just clip through it. Or my like, for instance, your clothes will just glitch off. Like, I'm walking down the street and all of a sudden my character's butt ass naked. Hello? And that gets the cops on me and I die because I'm naked. It's funny, but it's annoying, and the game will occasionally crash. I will just be playing, doing a mission, and my game just goes away, and I lose all my progress after the previous save, which the game auto-saves, so it's not a big deal, right? But still, losing save progress it's frustrating, even if you have to play through like 2 minutes of what you just did. You've already seen it. You just don't want to do it again, especially if it's a really hard part of the game you're doing. Like, there's some parts of the game that are kind of hard to get through because of difficulty, which is fine. Challenging games is always nice. That's why everyone likes Dark Souls. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about it. I want to like the game because, like, I load it up and I just see this massive city, but there's really not that much to do in it. Kind of like in the new Spider-Man games. In the new Spider-Man games, when you're swinging around doing whatever, there's tons of stuff to do. Like, you can stop various crime fights. There's side missions. Those side missions and crime fights are in Cyberpunk too, those side missions, but they're hard to find. And they're really repetitive. Like, especially the concept of the gigs. Like, I've done like 4 or 5 side missions now that are all the same. I've done a ton of side missions, but like 4 or 5 of them at the very least are go to an apartment, go in the apartment, kill whoever's in the apartment, take what's in there and take it to a drop point. Or like, yeah, that's basically like all the missions. They just kind of feel lazy. Like, anything outside of the main story feels really, really lazy. And maybe I'm just different. Maybe I'm taking too much of a critical eye to the game. But I just don't really like it that much. If you're gonna make a city that big and talk a lot of smoke on socials about how it's gonna be groundbreaking and super cool and have so much to do, then follow through. Make their stuff to do. There's tons of interactables, but all the missions just kind of feel like, hey, go do this thing, kill this person, get this piece of loot. But there's no like side story. It's just do this, do that, and you're good. Like, the whole cool thing about The Witcher is like you could get off on a whole side story and just do that for a long ass time, and that's content you see. In Cyberpunk, it's there, but it's almost all the same. And to each their own. It's a more of a shoot 'em up game. It's not as like, it doesn't feel like an RPG like The Witcher does. But it's just 2 completely different games. Maybe that's the wrong track to go down. I wish there were more people I could talk to about it, because I know there are some people that have a differing opinion than I do. But for now, I'm gonna say that I wouldn't buy the game. Honestly, I wouldn't spend $60 on it. I know most people have already bought it on launch to avoid spoilers. But the plot is really good. I think the main story is cool, but all the side quests and all the side quests and interactions in the city, not so much. And the skill trees, not to mention, are way too big and not explained at all. Like, the game does not tell you which is fine. It doesn't like show you how the leveling system works or what any of the stuff does. You have to figure it out. That's cool. That Dark Souls is like that. The Witcher's like that. Figuring it out is good, but there's so many huge skill trees. Like, in Dark Souls, it's pretty basic. It's just like, this skill does that. But there's like 20 or 25 different trees in the game, so figuring out which one to follow doesn't really help. And you have to figure it out before you even know what's going on in the game. Like, I don't know what technical ability does until I've got 10 hours in the game and no points in technical ability, and then I'm fucked because I have to respec my character. I don't know. The game just feels rushed, in my opinion. It doesn't feel complete because of the mixture of the texture issues, bugs, glitches, shitty side stories and interaction. Just screams rushed AAA title. And that's all I gotta say about that. If you have a different opinion than me, leave it in the comments. I don't want to say the game's bad, but if you're thinking about buying it, maybe wait till they fix all the bugs and drop a DLC that fixes issues with people's complaints. Sorry, I almost knocked a cup over. But yeah, as far as buying Cyberpunk, maybe watch some gameplay without spoiling too much of the story for yourself. But I wouldn't do it. I would not spend $60 on the game right now until you know that it's fixed and that it'll run on your console or your PC. It's just too buggy. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. There'll be more videos like this in the future. I enjoy just sitting down and talking to myself. Maybe that's weird, maybe that's odd, but I think it's fun. So I'll have guests on this too. I'll eventually make it into some cool podcast, but for now it's just gonna be the video is probably gonna be called Cyberjunk 2077. That's funny, right? So I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Blades. Subscribe if you like gaming. I'm a gamer. That's what they call it in the business. Have a great Merry Christmas. Happy holidays and all that. I'll see you guys whenever my next video is up. Bye bye.